ProjectMoon, despite what it may claim, is a terribly weird company. We have no fetishism in our stories, they say. False. They just have such weird fetishes that we never realized otherwise. LobCorp. Lobotomy Corporation opens with a blue robot passively aggressively degrading you for 12 hours of game time. The fact that the ProjectMoon fanbase exists after this is proof that we are all masochists. At one point in the story, a machine needs to be shut down repeatedly. How does one do this? Turn off its power supply, obviously. ProjectMoon was not satisfied with this. Instead, they decided that the answer that genius man Iron came to was to build an orphan-crushing machine. All the Sephira are actually robots. Their human appearance is because they became what Iron sees them as. However, we note that in no flashbacks was Carly dressed in skin-tight body armor with a boob window. The implication is that A is simply into that and hallucinated it. There are also two abnormalities that can and will bang your agents. Iron and Angela watch this all from a screen. The implication then is that both of them are in the chair. The game has you beat up an old man, a child, a redhead, and a goth. This is to appeal to the male fantasy. The entire story is predicated on the main character being so down atrocious for a woman that they rebuilt her into a robot with a larger bust. The game ends with Iron discovering that he is actually schizophrenic and that all the monsters everyone was fighting this entire game were his delusions. To make up for this, he decides to become even more schizophrenic. He fights with himself for 3 days while Angela watches in confusion. Finally, he unleashes a magic laser that gives everyone schizophrenia. This is why all ProjectMoon stories are so weird. Everyone in the city has schizophrenia. He then ceases to exist after having done nothing for his daughter the entire game. This is because Iron is a Crusader Kings player, and child domestic abuse is very cool. Ruina. Ruina opens with the main character, the second whitest man alive, having his every limb ripped off, while Angela is dressed like a homeless woman for some reason. This is made to pander to the LGBTQ. How? Trust me, across the game we see cannibalism, gore, body horror, Nedzak, and other upsetting things. Some believe this is to convey the dystopic nature of the city. No, it is because ProjectMoon is into that. The good story was accidentally created while Kim Ji-hoon and pals tried to write their fetishes down for a video game. Tippereth is now older. ProjectMoon can now show her being put through great physical suffering, which they could not before. Truly, Tippereth growing up only to promptly combust into flame and die against an angry widow is the height of entertainment. Malkuth breathes heavily at one point. I have no idea who this appeals to, but it must appeal to someone. Roland puts on drag at one point. He then gets his ass beat by a child and 4 anime cosplayers. The game ends with Angela being attacked by a furry convention twice and ejected from her property by a goth landlord. This is to convey the standard human experience. Limbus Company. Limbus Company opens with an attractive male of unspecified gender who may actually be an alien being attacked by a furry convention. This is because ProjectMoon realized that they failed to convey the existential terror of people in anime suits enough in the previous game. Dante then becomes an unpaid intern who suffers death multiple times a day. This is fairly typical for interns, but I digress. The horror of becoming a middle manager for a startup company is probably not fetishistic in nature. No one could get off to that. Sinclair comes out as gay. This is conveyed through the leader of the KKK transforming into a giant vagina and trying to eat him. Yi-sang, the Korean man of this Korean game, spends the vast majority of his screen time in his backstory with bare feet. The camera even focuses on it sometimes. Dante also hallucinates Yi-sang's ass cheeks. There is no explanation for this, ever. During Ishmael's canto, we discover she is gay, but she is also an asshole. This is good representation. Gay people can still be dicks, even if Ishmael does not have one. We also find out that Project Moon likes vor. Whale vor specifically. We discover an entire village living inside a whale's digestive system. Ryoshu puts on a silly mustache. This is the height of fan service. In Murder of the Warp Express, Faust becomes stupid. I like stupid people. This was tailor-made for me. In the same episode, Don Quixote's feet are revealed. They are important to the plot. We also see Don Quixote become a dominative woman, casually ordering a kneeling submissive Dante to put shoes back on her feet. Why? Because it's hot. Shut up. Leviathan. No one has ever read Leviathan. Wonderlab. No one has ever read Wonderlab. Distortion Detective. I have read Distortion Detective. However, no one has ever read Distortion Detective. This empirically proves that I do not exist. You were hallucinating reading this post the entire time. Obvious, because you can't read. Wake up. Conclusion? Project Moon is a weird company. And you are weird too. Ryoshu, 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 Ryoshu. Yeah, shut up, fuck, why was that? Why did them fly just... Was it that bad? Ryoshu, 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 Ryoshu. You know, I'll just tank it. I don't care if people are gonna say I said it wrong.